What is up, bestseller? Welcome into the Bestseller Playbook, where we talk about writing and selling books that last. I'm your host and best-selling author, Bob Wheatley, and today we are talking about prices. How do we price our book competitively? Now, there's a number of different streams of thought when it comes to pricing a book. Obviously, you have a general understanding of where a book's going to be. It's typically somewhere from $10 to $30, something like that. But then again, where do audiobooks fit in? Or where do ebooks fit in? Stuff like that. So let's have the conversation today. Let's assume that your book is already it's written, you've sent it to the publisher, it's been edited, everything is buttoned up as far as the physical product. Now, how do we price this thing? So there's definitely some strategy in this, I will say, because anytime you set a price, you're setting a market. You're setting a market for this product. So when somebody, you have to envision they are walking through Barnes and Noble or they're walking through an airport and maybe they've heard of you, maybe they haven't, but they're having the same question running through their mind. Is this worth it? Is this worth it? If I hand over $20 for this book, yes, I get the book, but there's also an opportunity cost there. As of this recording, $20, that's about half a coffee at Starbucks. So that is something that the reader, the person in the airport is considering. It's like, all right, is this book worth half of a Starbucks coffee to me? So when you set the price, you have to, we are basically positioning your book not only against other books, but also against the rest of the marketplace in the view of the reader. Now, on my first book, Our Heart's Desire, I opted for a slightly lower price than what you would typically see for a paperback book. And I did that intentionally. I was a first-time author, didn't have a big platform, and so I wanted to lower the bar that the reader had to clear in his or her mind in order to make a purchase. So what I opted for was a price point of $12.99. It's a very reasonable, like I said, low end price point as far as a paperback book. And this is not a pamphlet. My book was about 200 pages. You can see it over my shoulder here. And it's a legit book. It's a book for $13. So I wanted it to be reasonable. And I'll also say this, I kind of ran the math on what is the average tax that an Amazon buyer would end up having on their purchase. And after doing that and looking at a number of different states and stuff like that, basically the real number, the final takeaway of what's going to hit their credit card, I wanted that to be below $15 for my book. So it's all right. The book is $12.99. Where does the tax fit in? If they're an Amazon Prime member, if they're not a member, what does shipping look like? I was basically shooting for a $15 book all in. And so that's where I landed on that $12.99. And I'll say this, I have a book here for those that are watching on YouTube. This book is by Ryan Holiday. It's called Perennial Seller. And this is a great resource if you're thinking about launching a book. Could be your first, second, third book, but this is something that I return to each and every time that I'm either writing a book or advising someone, one of our clients, as far as book launches. And there's a story in this book, Perennial Seller, where an author strategically put his price point so low that it just blew up his platform. Like, imagine if you had a book that wasn't $13 or wasn't $30. Imagine you, I actually believe he did it with an ebook, but imagine you sold your book for $1, 99 cents. That's a really low bar to clear. We talked about that earlier in the video, where if you're debating Starbucks or book, if you're selling a book for $1, you can probably have both. So again, I do think that this Perennial Seller by Ryan Holiday is worth the read if you're interested in really doing a deep dive on how do you sell books. But that story just always stuck with me. It's like, okay, it is not the price of your book is not something that you just gloss over and maybe allow your publisher or friends or family to decide for you. It is a legitimate business decision because the book is going to be the same. The book is a known entity. It's a fixed product. There's a big difference between a $1 book and a $25 hardcover. You have to decide which you want to be. And something that I've learned over time, this is just a little an Amazon KDP hack that I've discovered over the years. As of this recording, and we'll see if it remains as time goes on, you actually have the ability on Amazon through KDP. You can actually take your ebook, so it'd be the digital version, and you can literally make it free. You can sell your book for free for up to 5 days a quarter. So you can't do it in perpetuity, right? Amazon wants to make their money, trust me, but they do give you the ability for 5 days a quarter to be able to give away to sell your book for free. So there's a couple of reasons why this would benefit you. Number one, more people are reading your book. There literally is zero bar to clear because they're getting it for free. I guess it costs them 30 seconds and a couple of clicks, but that's it. The second thing that's important is this is a truly verified Amazon purchase. Now, it's an air quote purchase because no money is changing hands. But what that allows you to do, if you're thinking about the how do I get Amazon reviews? How do I build momentum? How do I hit bestseller list? Stuff like that. This is a legitimate Amazon order. It's just one of the loopholes that they allow for that. And Amazon obviously started as a book seller. That's what they did. Now they sell everything. So books are a bit of a loss leader for them, and they know it. And of course, whether you're selling books for $1 or $30, there's not a ton of margin there. Versus if you're selling $1,000 television, piece of equipment, whatever it is, there's more margin. Amazon knows what books means to them today. Books are what bring a lot of people to Amazon, even still at this point. And so if you have a first-time author who has a small platform, Amazon's like, you know what, I'm going to throw this person, throw them a bone, and they'll be able to give away their book 5 days a quarter. So that's something to keep in mind for you. You literally, for 20 days a year, you could price your book for free and have it serve you. Now, as far as the price point of a book, I'd also say this, because you got to kind of run the economics on, like I said, the where you price your book is going to be a business decision for you. You also have to determine what is your goal for the book. Because some people will publish books with the goal of purely making money from book sales. And that's okay. If you're a self-published or a hybrid published book and you still retain the rights to the IP, you might make $5 or $6 a book. So if you do quick math, let's say you sell 100,000 books and people love it. You just made $500,000. Like that is not chump change. So, and that's a very realistic business model. Some people do pursue that route, especially if you can crank out these books, right? Month after month, year after year. If you're somebody who is in the fantasy space and you're publishing a new book every month and people are buying it like crazy, you can make a ton of money purely by those book sales. But oftentimes a book is not an amazing money maker as far as the book sales. It's really a good money maker to drive leads. And I work in the personal branding space, in the thought leadership space. So a lot of the authors that I work with are more so in the nonfiction world, where they have their 5 tips to make your life awesome or the 10 secrets to do this or that. And so that book, that 200-page manifesto on how to become the best version of you, yes, you might make some money from the book, but really for that person, let's say they're a coach or a keynote speaker or something like that, they might make $10,000 in an hour for giving a speech. So the book is less of a, man, fingers crossed, I hope I sell a bunch of these things and make $5 a book each and every time. For the keynote speaker, or for the high ticket sales coach or whatever it might be, the book is really a business card. It is an amazing business card. We have this inherent understanding. If somebody has taken 2 years and they came out with 200 pages and they say, this is what I believe, I am truly an expert in this area, then people will pay for that. They'll pay for that speech. They'll pay for the coursework. They'll join the membership. So when it comes to pricing a book, as we kind of put a bow on today's conversation, there's just a number of decisions that have to go in to that final decision. There's a number of factors that have to go into that final decision. So do you price your book at a low level so that people can kind of come in the door and get familiar? That might be a good path for a first-time author. Or do you give it away for free, utilizing some different Amazon Kindle direct publishing tools? Do you leverage your book not necessarily to make money, but to drive leads? These are all things that you have to consider. So the good news is there's no tried and true correct answer. There's no true right or wrong on this. It's just going to be a business decision. So I just want you to be informed as you are looking forward to publishing your first book, your next book, whatever it might be. I want you to consider all of these things before you do so. So I hope this was helpful. Again, what we do here is we talk about selling books, writing books, the publishing process, stuff like that. I have a number of questions that were relevant to me as a first-time author, but I also want to be sure to meet the needs of as far as what you're looking for. So if there's anything specific, any questions that feel like a real sticking point for you and you could use some assistance on all things books, leave me a comment. Give me your direct question and I'll be sure to answer it in future videos. Happy to do that. And as we wrap things up here today, just remember, the shortest way to a best-selling book is having a best-selling plan. We'll see you next time.